I'm from the trap, cracking on the 1st and 15. City on fire, there's money on the streets, Judas on my bed, popping on the block. I ride 20 flows, man, I never ride out. I've been up all night, homie, looking for the weed. Scary ass niggas won't sell me no tree. Like mess on dope, what kind of shit is that? You a hoe ass nigga, I'ma catch you in the trap. Jump out the box, man, and do you something wrong. Mind your own business and you might live long. That's probably why the Mex won't sell me no chickens. Cause you hoe ass niggas gossiping like bitches. I ride through the sun with them clouds and screens. Young ballin', I get money. What do you mean? Click, clack, city, yeah, baby, we get it clicking. And 9/10 of the game's position. Yeah, I'm in the trap, big box, shoes and the side. Smell like weed, pocket full of rock. Click, clack, city, little white top. Diamonds on my necklace, rocks on my watch. Where you from? The trap. Where you be at? The trap. Where that is? The trap. Where that's at? The trap. Where you from? The trap. Where you be at? The trap. Where that is? The trap. Where that's at? The trap. From the trap. And everybody mama on go. Auntie, uncle, everybody on go. Then my niggas trying to call on them little ghost folks. Ride through the trap, come and fuck with your folks. We be 20-something deep when we show up at the club, they be like, cuz, nigga make you blind. I don't dance, I do my body like this. I'm a trapper, you ain't never met nobody like this. Fall with the moment, niggas roll out. Jacking on this pepper, niggas, how we going out? Ain't no suckers in the trap, yeah, know that beat. See me riding with the bitch, nigga, know that's me. My pimp, nigga, I eat steak and shrimp. I'm gonna move to Miami and get big as a blimp. Click, clack, city, yeah, baby, we get it clicking. The 9/10 of the game's position. Catch me in the trap, red box, shoes and the side. Smell like weed, pocket full of rock. Click, clack, city, little white top. Diamonds on my necklace, rocks on my watch. Where you from? The trap. Where you be at? The trap. Where that is? The trap. Where that's at? The trap. Where you from? The trap. Where you be at? The trap. Where that is? The trap. Where that's at? The trap. From the trap with the shit. I only got it easy. Run up on me in the trap. Like catch me in the street. You know when you catch me, you gon' catch me when you leave. You know when you catch me, man, it ain't gon' be sweet. I made $1 million and I still drink gin. It's Tuesday, I hope they don't jump out on me again. Got rocks in my ass, a pocket full of cash. Me in the trap, I'm gonna run and make me kiss my ass. The price ain't high, she called my baby mama. Jump out my lap and jump in my Hummer. It's wet too, I just put some scissors on that bitch. They had me in the circle, put some pictures on that bitch. Click, clack, city, yeah, baby, we get it clicking. And 9/10 of the game's position. You hear me? Click, clack, city, yeah, baby, we get it clicking. And 9/10 of the game's position. Shoes and smell like weed, pocket full of rock. Click, clack, city, little white top. Diamonds on my necklace, rocks on my watch. Where you from? The trap. Where you be at? The trap. Where that is? The trap. Where that's at? The trap. Where you from? The trap. Where you be at? The trap. Where that is? The trap. Where that's at? The trap. Hell no, I don't want to go to the club, nigga. We gonna see them hoes at the mall, blood. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm trapping, nigga. You know what I'm saying? 50s, nigga, solid, man. You know what I'm saying? Have birds, man. Birds. in the trap.
Guns go for the low, coke go for the high. When the news gets strong, we taking it to the sky. X packaging is no longer accident. But think the baby mothers taking knees like they Kaepernick. Honda Accords for drug lords and Pop Warner coaches get sponsored like world tours. Keep 2 million in full storages. Woo! We think bigger, we notorious. Knew the candy lady, became the candy man. 757, we call it Candyland. Metro PCSing without a data plan. This is lead babies, popping Ativan. Home of where them young niggas pull up. Money gets shown by the way a nigga pull up. Legends got made when a real nigga stood up. Cause even in the cave, they gon' still throw the hood up like, yeah.
Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ.
Lord Christ, what's going on, otherwise?
I ain't got shit going on. Teaching a class right now. What's up with my guy?
on them, man. I know the niggas gon' be your soldier when niggas keep on. Shit done got so deep, I can't trust my homies, cause niggas know I got heroin for the low, hitting them for the high. Fuck the dog, and he could've been petty and mix it down. Thousand package of Perkins and Portland, I ship it down. I catch a flight and I catch my shit soon as I get to town. At my hoes out, showed up in that new Ferrari Roma, I done showed out. Fucking gangsta give them soldiers land without the gold mouth. Holding 50 bricks up in the drought, I just might hold out. Kids from a I been my watch, the bitches froze out. Holding 50 bricks up in the drought, I just might hold out. Fucking gangsta give them soldiers land without the gold mouth.
So, like it, y'all, we're going to get started in a hot second. If y'all out there, Baba Kasha, make sure, man, y'all go share this on all platforms, because this is a very important episode, especially for the Black community and seeing what we went through during the crack era and the crack epidemic in the early mid 80s and early 90s. You understand? But this is a very important episode. I'm gonna get it started right now. Yahweh Shemel Shabrak, a thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal, a thumb by Shemel shout to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karan Yala, the I.S.U.P.K, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And welcome to another episode of Criminals of the Caucasus. You understand? Today, we're going to get into the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma, right? Of course, as you know, I got a couple Google and Wikipedia sources, you understand? Oh, Salakia, let me say what's shalom to my people out there. Salakia. Mana'ama. Salakia says, if I butchered your name, Yao Shamar Lataba Shem Yao Shah says. My sister, Nazam Ana, you understand? Yao Shamar Lataba Shem Yao Shah says. The water for tapping in. Appreciate you, as usual. You understand? If y'all could, Baba Kasha, share these classes. You understand? Especially this Criminals of the Caucasus series. I just, on the I.S.U.P.K Sacramento YouTube channel, I just put together the playlist for the for the Criminals of the Caucasus series. So if y'all want to go back and check out some episodes or show people these episodes, you understand, that would be greatly appreciated. And it's very important in this, right? Because here in America, they have taught us they have taught us to believe that being a criminal, you understand, is the culture of Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you understand, which it couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. You understand? Being a criminal is Caucasian culture. Like, that's what they've done throughout history, and that's what they will do until the Lord eradicates them from off of the planet, right? So now we're going to go into the Sackler family. You understand? First, Salakia, let me share my screen. We're going to go into Purdue Pharma first. You understand? Purdue Pharma, right? And let me just give y'all a quick, a brief history of the Sackler family, you understand, and what Purdue Pharma is mostly famous for, right? During the early 90s, and of course, I'm going to go through Wikipedia searches and all of this to give you guys more information, right? But during the early 90s, right, the Sackler family is, I believe, the the man of this family that was the president of the company at the time, I believe it was Richard Sackler, but he is the inventor and the founder of the highly addictive opioid called OxyContin. You understand? These people made billions of dollars off of pushing this drug, which is essentially, you understand, heroin, right, to the public, right, in order and giving it out in higher doses in order for their company to make more money off of the product. You understand? So Salakia, right? Okay, Purdue Pharma. This is the Wikipedia for Purdue Pharma. Purdue Pharma LP, formerly the Purdue Frederick Company, 1892 to 2019, was an American privately held pharmaceutical company founded by John Purdue Gray. It was sold to Arthur Mortimer and Raymond Sackler in 1952, and then owned principally by the Sackler family and their descendants. Now, of course, if you understand surnames or last names, and you kind of have like a feel of how last names are spelled and pronounced, you understand, you will understand that this is a Jewish family. You understand? Sackler, Adam Sandler, you understand? You have Goldsmiths, Goldbergs, you understand, things of that nature. These type of last names are predominantly held by Jewish families. So the Sackler family is a Jewish family, and we're going to get into their history too, right? The company manufactured pain medicines such as hydromorphine, fentanyl, codeine, hydrocodone, and oxycodone, also known by its brand name OxyContin. Now, of course, these people were manufacturing different forms of opioids, which is essentially heroin. You understand? Like, this family made billions of dollars off of selling heroin in prescription pill form. You understand? As well as fentanyl, right? Which you see the epidemic of fentanyl today, right? The Sacklers developed aggressive marketing tactics, persuading doctors to prescribe OxyContin in particular. You understand? And what they did was they persuaded doctors in many different ways by giving them because you got to remember this Sackler family, they were pharmacists. You understand? These guys was doctors. You understand? And what they did was, just like any drug pusher would do, you understand, they literally persuaded these doctors to prescribe higher doses, so they can make more money off of drugs. You understand? This is a family of drug dealers, literally. You understand? On a mass scale. You understand? And mind you, of course, these are pharmacists, but right, essentially, it's the same thing as a drug dealer. You understand? And of course, them being a so-called Jewish family or upstanding family, you understand, the public seen nothing wrong about what they was doing. You understand? Like, if you got a brother or sister that's in a ghetto selling any type of controlled substances, they go to jail for it. Now, these people made billions of dollars. You understand? Tens of billions of dollars off of creating an epidemic of opioid addicts, you understand, in order to line their pockets and create generational wealth for their families, right? Doctors were enticed with free trips to pain management seminars, which were effectively all expensive paid vacations and paid speaking engagements. Like, they literally, like, this family is diabolical. You understand? They literally persuaded these people to create a generation of drug addicts by giving them gifts as far as vacations, you understand, and bonuses and things of that nature in order to have them persuade the public, you understand, to try these drugs, right? Well, Salakia. Hey, Ayashala, y'all about Shimon Shabrakata, the water for tapping in. You understand? Young man Jiren, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. Y'all about Shimon Shabrakata, young brother. The water for tapping in. I appreciate y'all. But these people, you understand, they persuaded these doctors and giving them gifts, you understand, in order to push their drugs on the American population in order for them to get rich. Sales of their drugs soared, as did the number of people dying from overdoses. From 1999 to 2020, nearly 841,000 people died from drug overdoses in the United States, with prescriptions and illicit opioids responsible for 500,000 of those deaths. So between 1999 and 2020, more than half of the people that died from drug overdoses, they literally died from opioids that they had prescriptions for. You understand? Like, Big Pharma, like, it's not a conspiracy. This is real life, right? Like these people who can legally sell drugs to you, they killed the population, not the population, excuse me. They unalived more people, you understand, from drug overdoses from their legal drugs than people that died from illegal drug overdose. A series of lawsuits followed in 2007, Purdue paid out one of the largest fines ever levied against a pharmaceutical firm, for misleading the public about how addictive the OxyContin was compared to other pain medications. You understand? These people like deceived the public and literally told people OxyContin is not it's not addictive. It's not as addictive as other opioids. You understand? Which, when you look at the chemical makeup of OxyContin, it's literally heroin. Like they was literally selling heroin in pill form. You understand? If whenever y'all get a chance, they got a couple of docu-series. One in particular, the best one in my opinion is Painkiller. You can watch it on Netflix. I urge you to go watch it before they take it off of Netflix. You understand? There's another one called what's the other one that they had, man? I think it's like 3 of them. Find all of them for me. But it's a great watch, and it shows you how evil that the oppressor is. You understand? It shows you the spirit of greed that these people have on them. You understand? Salakia. In response to the lawsuits, the company shifted its focus to abuse-determined formulators, but continued to market and sell opioids as late as 2019, and continued to be involved in lawsuits around opioid epidemic in the United States. Purdue filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on September 15th, 2019 in New York City. And the reason why they filed for bankruptcy is because they tried to protect their asset. Like, Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy like numerous times. You understand? Okay, so is all of these?
A few of them are movies, but yeah, they're all about the same, different ones.
Okay, so it's a couple of different documentaries on Netflix. One is called Painkiller, Pain Hustlers, The Pharmacist, Heroin, and Take Your Pills, Xanax. You understand? Just to name a few, right? But these people file for bankruptcy. I appreciate it. These people file for bankruptcy in order to protect their ill-gotten gain. You understand? From essentially being a mass-produced heroin dealer. You understand? On October 21st, 2020, it was reported that Purdue had reached a settlement potentially worth $8.3 billion admitting that it knowingly and intentionally conspired and agreed with others to aid and abet doctors dispensing medication without a legitimate medical practice. I mean, a legitimate medical purpose. Members of the Sackler family will additionally pay $225 million, and the company will close. Now, $8.3 billion versus plus another $220 million, right? So that's essentially about $8.5 billion that this company had to pay out. You understand? But watch when y'all see how much money this company actually made off of these drugs. Some state attorney generals, some state attorneys general protested the plan. In March 2021, the United States House of Representatives introduced a bill that would stop the bankruptcy judge in the case from granting members of the Sackler family legal immunity during the bankruptcy proceedings. That's BS too, because none of these people went to jail. The House of Judicial Committee referred it to the subcommittee of Antitrust, Commercial, and Administrative Law in October 2021. The bill lapsed at the end of the 117th Congress in January. Salakia, Israel, give me 1 second. Salakia, where was I? Purdue Pharma announced that it would brand itself as in September 2021. Purdue Pharma announced that it would rebrand itself as Noah Pharma. So they still kept selling drugs after this $8.5 billion payout. You understand? And these hundreds of thousands of lives lost by the hands of them by pushing their product. And these people are crazy, right? Salakia, I'm gonna just keep reading. Salakia. As of August 2023, Purdue Pharma remains in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, pending a Department of Justice appeal to the United States Supreme Court of a second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that the bankruptcy proceedings may continue. The company's downfall was the subject of the 2021 Hulu miniseries Dope Stick, the 2021 HBO film The Crime of the Century, the 2023 Netflix series Painkiller, and several documentaries and books. Purdue Pharmacy had no relation to Purdue University or the university's College of Pharmacy, something Purdue University has made clear on multiple occasions to avoid association. Hell yeah. Purdue like, man, we ain't associated with them drug dealer niggas, you understand, or them drug dealing oppressors, right? So let's get into a little bit of history of the Purdue Pharmacy, right? Salakia. It says, the company that became Purdue Pharma was founded in 1892 by medical doctors John Purdue Gray and George Frederick Bingham in New York City as the Purdue Frederick Company, right? The company made a tonic compound made with sherry and glycerin. 60 years later, in 1952, the company was sold to three other medical doctors, brother Arthur Raymond, and Mortimer Sackler, who relocated the business to Yonkers, New York. The brothers all held a 1/3 share in the company. Salakia. I butchered their names wrong. Salakia, Arthur Raymond and Mortimer Sackler. You understand? So these three brothers they purchased the Purdue Frederick Company, you understand? and later renamed it to Purdue Pharma, right? The brothers all held a 1/3 share in the company, but Arthur's share passed to his brother. But Arthur's share passed to his brothers after his death in 1987. Mortimer died in 2010, followed by Raymond in 2017. Under the Sacklers, the company opened additional offices in New Jersey and Connecticut. The headquarters are located in Stamford, Connecticut. The modern company, Purdue Pharma LP, was incorporated in 1991 and focused on pain management medication, calling itself a pioneer in developing medications for reducing pain, a principal cause of human suffering. They didn't give a damn about human suffering. You understand? Because, like, I'm not 100% knowledgeable about what it takes, you understand, in order to create a drug, you understand, or medicine to give to the public as far as ailments. I'm not 100% correct on that, but I do know that you have to understand you have to understand the genetic makeup of these substances that you're producing before you give it out to the public. They have to test it. You understand? They have to do a whole lot of research on a drug in order to release it to the public. And I'm sure that these people understood that they were selling heroin. You understand? Essentially, they didn't care about. They didn't give a damn about the public. They didn't care about the people. All they cared about was the money. You understand? In 1984, its extended release formulation of morphine, MS-Contin, was released. OxyContin was released in 1996 after Curtis Wright, an employee of the Food and Drug Administration, approved its use on a 12-hour dosage cycle. Around the time of OxyContin's release, the American Pain Society introduced its Pain as Fifth Vital Sign campaign. Veterans Health Administrations adopted the campaign as its national pain management strategy. And the American Pain Society, you understand, them saying the fifth vital sign is pain. They had the same type of greedy spirit on them as the Sackler brothers. You understand? The Sackler brothers just got in where they fit in. You understand? Oh, it's cool for us to create drugs to sell to people in this country. You understand? Just like our people did for hundreds of years before this happened. You can read about the opium wars and all of that type of stuff. They got in where they fit in. They did exactly what white men do. You understand? Destroy people for monetary gain. In September 2015, the company's website said it had some 1,700 people on its payroll. The same month, the company announced it would acquire VM Pharma and process, gaining access to worldwide development and commercial rights to an allosteric selective tryptomyosin receptor kinase inhibitor program, i.e., the phase 2 candidate VM902A. The deal could have generated more than $213 million for VM Pharma. So they want to expand. You understand? Just like you got people that sell drugs in the black community. You understand? When you expand your drug empire, you understand, you might start off on one corner. Now that you're getting more money, you go get another corner or another trap house, or you take over this part of the neighborhood. This is exactly what Purdue Pharma was doing. You understand? They expanded their empire to sell more drugs and make more money. OxyContin became a blockbuster drug. Between 1995 and 2001, OxyContin brought in $2.8 billion in revenue for Purdue Pharma. Cumulative revenues had increased to $31 billion by 2016 and US $35 billion by 2017. Now, remember the numbers that I just gave y'all, the payout that they had to pay out, which was about $8.5 billion. You understand? It was hundreds of thousands of people that died from this drug, but the company pocketed $35 billion. You understand that? Like, let me see the percentage of that, right? Which $1 billion is a lot of goddamn money, especially for one family, but $35 billion? So hold on, let me see. Let's do this, right? So this family basically pocketed $26.5 billion, you understand, from their drug proceeds, right, after a payout of $8.5 billion, right? So, hey, Siri. What is... Shit. How am I going to ask this? Hey, Siri. What percent of $35 billion is $8.5 billion?
8,500,000,000 divided by 30.
Salakia. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Damn. Salakia, I'm not that good at math, y'all. Let me see. 35 divided by 8.5 equals. I'm not sure, but if somebody could, Baba Kashab, post it in the chat. What is the percentage? Damn, I don't even know how to ask the question, but it's a small percentage of $35 billion. You understand that equals to 8.5 billion. If anybody understand what I'm trying to say, please put the numbers in the chat for me, Baba Kashab. How much is 8.5 billion? Damn. What percentage of 8.5 billion? No, what? Hey, Siri. What percentage of 35 billion is 8.5 billion?
8,500,000,000 divided by 35 billion is
so,
approximately 24.2857%.
So 8.5 billion of 35 billion is a little bit over 24%. You understand? Of a little bit over 24% of 35 billion. So this family essentially got to keep over 75% of the money that they made off of selling drugs, and all of these people lost their lives. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Straight up. Hey, Karak, sir. Yabashim al-Shabrakatah. Damn right. This is Real Nigga University, my lord. You understand? We're going to keep going, right? It says, all of the company's profits go to the Sackler family's trusts and entities. According to a 2017 article, The New Yorker, Purdue Pharma is owned by one of America's richest families with a collective net worth of $13 billion. Many U.S. states allege the family is worth more than $13 billion. And I doubt that $13 billion is all the money that they have. I highly doubt that. Philanthropy In 2016, Forbes magazine listed Sacklers as one of the 20 wealthiest families in the U.S. and noted that the Sacklers have contributed money to museums, universities, and cultural institutions around the world. Of course, because this is what drug dealers have always done. When you see the movie New Jack City, that's not a myth. You understand? Drug dealers will destroy a place, destroy a community, you understand? And then give you crumbs in order to make it look like they're a Robin Hood. Bumpy Johnson did it. Frank Lucas did it. You understand? When you look at a lot of these, I got to use the rap industry today because rap is the best selling drug right now. You got a lot of brothers out there that perpetuate a criminal lifestyle and promote it through their music. You understand? And they make millions of dollars off of young kids listening to their music and crashing out because of the lyrics that they putting out there. And then what happens is around Christmas and Thanksgiving time, you understand, they go pass out turkeys and have food and clothing drives and shit. But all the while, throughout the whole damn year, they've been promoting a destructive lifestyle and have gotten your children to actually participate in destroying the black community, right? And this is the same exact thing that these Caucasians done. They say these people then contribute money to museums, university, and cultural institutions around the world. However, the Purdue website makes little mention of anyone in the Sackler family or their ownership of the company. I bet you they don't. They don't want everybody to know that they received all of these billions of dollars. Like these people is in the Forbes magazine, you understand, as being one of the top 20 richest families in the United States. And they got their money off selling dope. Come on, man. Alan Francis, former chair of psychiatry, Salakia, at Duke University School of Medicine, said their name has been pushed forward as the epitome of good works and of the fruits of the capitalist system. But when it comes down to it, they've earned this fortune at the expense of millions of people who are addicted. It's shocking how they have gotten away with it. Salakia. It don't shock me. You understand? And it shouldn't shock you out there, viewers. The white man is the devil. You understand? The way he got in power is being a goddamn criminal, right? The structure of the company. The company's branches include Purdue Pharma, LP, the Purdue Frederick Company, Purdue Pharmaceutical Products, LP, and Purdue Products, LP. Its manufacturing takes place at 3 sites. So they got three Carters. You understand? Purdue Pharmaceuticals LP, a plant located in Wilson, North Carolina, the PF Laboratories INC in Totowa, New Jersey, and Rhodes Technologies LP in Coventry, Rhode Island. Purdue Pharma LP also has research labs in Cranberry, New Jersey. OxyContin is currently distributed throughout the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Distribution takes place from the PF Laboratories in Totowa, New Jersey. They still selling dope right now. You understand? Rose Pharmaceuticals is a sister company that was established in Rhode Island in 2007. The company is one of the largest producers of off-patent generic opioids in the United States. Sister companies to Purdue that are also controlled by descendants of the Sackler brothers are NAP Pharmaceuticals in the United Kingdom and Mundi Pharma that are selling opioids globally. Man, look. Like, you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans understand this. I have never in my life, like, the drug kingpin Big Meats just got out of jail. You understand? Imagine him passing down his cocaine empire to Lil Meats, and Lil Meats able to sell cocaine continuously just like his father did. That's exactly what Purdue Pharma did. These Sacklers, they passed down the trap to their descendants. This is crazy. New drugs are being developed under other companies such as Adlin Therapeutics and Embrium. Both are based in the same building as their parent company in downtown Stanford and Sharon Floyd's. They making new dope. You understand? They in there doing their thing. Management. Richard Sackler, the son of Raymond Sackler, started work at the company in 1971. He was named president in 1999 and became co-chairman of the board in 2003. Richard oversaw the research department that developed OxyContin and managed the sales and marketing unit. Man, look, this dude literally sat back and taught them how to create this pill form of heroin. He sat back and taught them this. You understand? Like Purdue Pharma, these niggas the king of the trap. Salakia. Craig Lando was appointed CEO in June 22nd, 2017. He joined Purdue Pharma in 1999 and was chief medical officer and vice president of R&D innovation, clinical and medical affairs. In 2013, he was appointed president and CEO of Purdue Pharma Canada. Right? He got a promotion. You understand? They selling all that dope. They give bruh promotion. Now he the CEO. In 2018, 8 members of the Sackler family were listed as active or former members of the board of directors. You understand this? This is the hierarchy, you understand, of essentially a drug running empire. You understand? Pablo Escobar ain't got nothing on these niggas. Big Meech ain't got nothing on these niggas. You understand? Any person that you thought was a kingpin drug dealer that you idolize in your mind, they learned this from their oppressor and could never do it like the oppressor did it. You understand? In 2000, Salaki, I already read that. Steve Miller became chairman in July 2018. By early 2019, the Sacklers had departed the Purdue Pharma board, leaving a board of 5 members. That don't mean they don't own the company still. Potential for abuse. Purdue Pharma manufacturers, and so like I'm gonna show y'all pictures of this family. You understand? They look like the all-American white family. They look like harmless. You understand? Harmless old white men that wouldn't hurt a fly, right? Because of the propaganda that they have put out there to the public that white men are actually good people, which that's a goddamn lie. Purdue Pharma manufactures pain medicines such as hydromorphine, oxycodone, fentanyl, codeine, and hydrocodone. Man, they selling dope. You hear me? It makes drugs such as MS-Contin, OxyContin, and Rizolt. In 1972, Contin, a controlled drug release system, was developed. Man, these niggas was diabolical. They developed a drug release system to where they was able to get you to take a pill and give it a certain amount of time in order for the pill to activate, you understand, and you start to feel the effects of being on the drug. The most commonly abused medications that the company produces are MS-Contin and OxyContin. Both can be abused by crushing, chewing, snorting, or injecting the dissolved product. And these people was doing all of this. I urge y'all to go watch that documentary, Painkiller. It's wild. It's crazy. You understand? And when you look at what happened during the opioid epidemic, you understand, and all of these people lost their lives and all of these billions of dollars that these people have made off of the United States public suffering, you understand, and basically forcing these people to become addicts, none of them went to jail. Not one of them did 1 day in prison. None of them went to jail. Big Meats just did what? 17 years or something like that. You understand? In all of these neighborhoods that we grow up in, we know at least one person that came home from jail after doing a 25-year prison sentence or a federal prison sentence for selling drugs. You understand? And these brothers and sisters, they made a couple million. You understand? They probably made 20, 30 million. These people made $35 billion and didn't do not 1 day in jail. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Straight up. You understand? Salakia. Where was I at? These ingestion methods create a significant risk to the abuser. They can result in overdose and death. Drug-seeking tactics that addicts undergo to obtain the medication include doctor shopping, which is visiting a number of different physicians to obtain additional prescriptions and refuse to follow up with a proximate examination, using pill mills and prescriber practices with lax controls. Like, these people was so addicted to this drugs, they was finding like different ways in order to get more drugs. You understand? And it's the same thing with the crack epidemic. You understand? These people pushed that nation crippling drugs on blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You understand? Pushed it in our communities, and now you got people in 2024 that are still suffering from the effects of the crack epidemic that started in the early goddamn 80s. Like, you literally still have kingpin drug dealers that been in jail since 1993, since 92. You understand? You still got broken homes and displaced families. You understand? Because they suffered from the drug epidemic of crack cocaine. You understand? And meanwhile, these people made billions of dollars off of the opioid epidemic and did not 1 day in jail. They had to pay a fine, kept the majority of their money, and they still selling dope right now. Salakia. Along with the high potential for abuse among people without prescriptions, there is also a risk of physical dependency and reduced reaction of drug desensitization, for patients that are prescribed them. Nevertheless, strong analgesic drugs remain indispensable to patients with severe acute and cancer pain. Marketing strategy. The first step in marketing strategy was to seek approval to sell OxyContin from the Food and Drug Administration. Purdue managed to get it approved in 1995, even though no long-term studies and no assessment of its addictive capabilities had been conducted. So they didn't even do the proper research on this drug and still got it approved. Approval to prescribe OxyContin for moderate to severe pain was granted by Dr. Curtis Wright, the fourth, the medical review officer for the FDA. According to Purdue documents, in a review conducted in 2006 by the Justice Department, Wright met with Purdue Pharma representatives in a hotel room near the FDA offices in Rockville, Maryland, between January 31st to February 2nd, 1995. They say he bet their ass in a hotel room. Man, you can't tell me this ain't no damn drug deal. How the hell are you? Do you work for the FDA and you meet with with representatives from a private pharmaceutical company in a goddamn hotel room in order to get their drug approved for them to sell on a mass scale? This is a goddamn drug deal. Salakia. He also allowed the company to help draft his medical officer's review, MOR, of OxyContin for the FDA, which included approving the wording of certain text to be used in OxyContin's package insert or label. Wright resigned from the FDA a year later and was subsequently employed as a consultant at Purdue with a substantially higher salary. Nigga, that man, look, this dude, they persuaded this nigga so much, he left the FDA, started working for Purdue Pharma, and got paid way more money dealing with the drug dealers versus being a part of the organization that's supposed to monitor drugs and things of that nature. You understand? He seen that they was getting money in Purdue Pharma. Man, he switched sides. He like, man, nigga, I need some of that heroin money. The information label approved by the FDA contained the text "delayed absorption as provided by OxyContin's tablets is believed to reduce the abuse liability of a drug." The ambiguous text is believed to reduce the abuse liability became a key issue in subsequent lawsuits against Purdue and was quoted in the 2007 felony conviction of the company for criminal misbranding. David Kessler, FDA commissioner at the time, later said of the approval of OxyContin, "No doubt it was a mistake. It was certainly one of the worst medical mistakes, a major mistake." That wasn't no mistake. These people knew what they was doing. They put that in there to sell these drugs, you understand, legally, right? Salakia. Hold on, let me get some of these comments. You understand? Salakia, sir. Are these one of the 666 ruling families? To tell you the truth, sis, I doubt it. You understand? Because, and the reason why I doubt it is, you have like it says the Sackler family is named in the Forbes magazine. The 666 families that run planet Earth, or the 666 men that govern world affairs, they not putting their names in the Forbes magazine. They got way more money than the Sackler family. The Sackler family, they say they worth about $13 billion, you understand? Which I think is a complete lie, right? But the 660 men that run, that rule the world affairs, you understand? Nah, they not gonna be in no Forbes magazine. There's gonna be some dudes that we don't know. You understand? It like, and I'm not saying that we can't possibly know exactly who these men are, but the Sackler family, they on a small scale compared to people like the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers. You understand? A snake, wolves in sheep's clothing. Absolutely. That is the white man. You understand? Salakia. Esau is the biggest dope man on planet Earth. Nizam Anah, Khan, sis. You absolutely correct. You understand? The Caucasian man is the biggest pedophile on planet Earth, the biggest drug dealer on planet Earth, the biggest criminal on planet Earth. Nobody, the biggest mass unaliver on planet Earth. Nobody do crime like these people. And then like this is the spirit of the Lord that came upon me to actually start this series. These people are historically known to do all of the most crime in the goddamn. It couldn't have been no criminals of Saudi Arabia. It couldn't have been no criminals of Asia. It couldn't have been none of that, because those people have not done what Caucasian people have done throughout history on a larger scale than Caucasian people. You understand? It was only right to name it the criminals of the Caucasus, because these are the biggest criminals that the world has ever seen. You understand? And Salakia, of course, I'm going to go to the scripts. You understand? Salakia. Promotion to doctors. OxyContin was systematically marketed as if it had very limited potential for addiction or abuse. You understand? Which heroin is addictive, period. Purdue trained its sales representatives to convey to doctors that the risk of addiction from OxyContin was less than 1%. They was downright lying about how addictive that this drug was, right? A related feature of this strategy was that because of the purported low risk, it could be prescribed as an effective treatment for chronic pain from virtually any condition, not just cancer. And a lot of the doctors, you're going to see it in that series when y'all get to watching that series. A lot of the a few of the doctors just in the series, but I know a lot of the doctors that wasn't with it, they were telling you like, bro, I would never prescribe that shit to nobody unless you had cancer and you was about to die, because they knew this is heroin. You understand? Oh man, and they tactics was evil as hell in order to in the series. I'm gonna just give you a quick little sidebar about the series. In the series, this is what they did in order. Now, I'm not sure if they did this actually in real life, but in the series, what they did was they would get young, pretty white girls, you understand, that was, you know, probably fresh out of high school, you understand, just now going into college, right? They'll doll them up and dress them up and essentially send these broads to the doctors to flirt with them, you understand, and have relations with them, anything that they could do in order to push this drug, you understand, in order for them to get money in their own pockets. The more prescriptions that you gave to these doctors, the higher dosages that they allowed these doctors to prescribe to people, the more these girls got, you understand, as far as the money being put in their pocket. And they gave them bonuses. They was sending them on trips. You understand? All type of stuff. Man, I urge y'all to go watch that documentary, Painkiller. It's excellent. You understand? And it shows you exactly how greedy and how much of a devil the white man is, right? Salakia. What was that? Oh, this non-malignant painkiller was a much larger market than that for cancer-related pain, making up 86% of the total opioid market in 1999. So in 1999, 86% of the opioid market was OxyContin. 80% of the opioids that was being sold was OxyContin. These niggas had the block on smash. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at 2002, 2003, if you listen to the radio at that time, right? The most popular producer on the radio at that time was Pharrell Williams. You understand? He was making beats for everybody. They was the Pharrell Williams, you understand, or the Dr. Dre of selling heroin, Salakia, you understand, at that time, right? Purdue's promotion of OxyContin for the treatment of non-cancer related pain led to a nearly tenfold increase in prescriptions for less serious pain, from about 670,000 in 1997 to about 6.2 million in 2002. God damn, Salakia. Boy, they was, man, look, the white man, boy, the white man invented the trap. Salakia. Purdue enlisted consulting firm McKinsey and Company to decide and implement OxyContin marketing strategies. McKinsey suggested Purdue focus its sales reps visit the highest prescribing doctors. Purdue also wooed doctors with free trips to pain management seminars and vacation destinations. So essentially what they'll do, they'll have a pain management seminar, but they not finna do this shit in San Francisco or no shit. Nah, they not doing that. They gonna fly you to Costa Rica. They gonna take you to Miami, Florida, or something like that. You gonna be in the Bahamas at a pain seminar, like at a vacation resort. You understand? Like This is what they're doing to entice these doctors to create more drug addicts for them so they can sell more drugs. It's diabolical. Salakia. According to a study in the American Journal of Public Health, more than 5,000 physicians, pharmacists, and nurses attended these all expenses paid symposia. I don't know if I pronounced that word correct, Salakia. I could barely read. You understand? Where they were recruited and trained for Purdue's National Speaker Bureau. In 2017, a presentation to members of the Sackler family, McKinsey consultants suggested that Purdue pay pharmaceutical distributors a rebate for every overdose attributed to the pills the distributor sold. Purdue's vice president of sales and marketing expressed hesitation on the need to turbo change sales, but Sackler family members and other executives pushed on with the promotion. Sales soared, while more than 450 people died. Salakia, they kept selling dope. In 2021, McKinsey researched a settlement with the attorneys general of 47 states, the District of Columbia, and 5 territories to pay $537 million and agreed to not work with certain narcotic manufacturers. Kevin Sneeder, the McKinsey's global managing partner, stated, "With this agreement, we hope to be part of the solution to the opioid crisis in the U.S." Man, look, they only paid money to get out of this, right? They only paid money and served no jail time in all of these deaths, right? That their drug caused because they illegally prescribed higher dosages by persuading these doctors that it's a less than 1% chance of somebody getting addicted. Meanwhile, they are literally selling heroin. You understand? Bumpy Johnson, Felix Mitchell out here in Oakland. You understand? Any black drug kingpin, you understand? Frank Lucas, any black drug kingpin that sold heroin in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, you understand? Y'all don't have nothing on these people. You understand? Let them do what they do. You understand? And we come back to our God, because this is ridiculous. Salakia. Purdue claimed that one dose of OxyContin relieved pain for 12 hours, more than twice as long as generic medications. It was marketed as smooth and sustained, pain control all day and all night when taking a 12-hour schedule. However, most patients found it wore off after 8 hours or less. So they taught, like, they knew that these drugs didn't last more than 8 hours, but they told you, oh, it'll cure your pain for a good 12 hours. And they knew that this drug would wear off. You understand? This is why they prescribe these higher doses, is because when they get these people addicted to these drugs, right? And then the feeling of the drug wears off, they're going to need more drugs, which made Purdue Pharma more money and more money, right? It says, Salakia, a 2016 investigation by the Los Angeles Times reported that in many people, OxyContin's 12-hour schedule does not adequately control pain, resulting in withdrawal symptoms, including intense craving for the drug. Ain't that what happened with heroin addicts? You understand? That heroin addict literally has to do the drug in order to function. And it's the same thing with these prescription pills. The Los Angeles Times quoted Theodore J. Cicero, a neuropharmacologist at the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, who said that when it doesn't last 12 hours, patients can suffer both a return of their underlying pain and the beginning stages of acute withdrawal. Cicero said that becomes a very powerful motivator for people to take more drugs. The Times suggested that this problem gives new insight into why so many people have become addicted. Duh. That's all I can say about that is duh. You do the drug, you understand? You get hooked on the feeling of the drug, you're going to want to do more drugs. You understand? You become addicted to the drugs, and the drug dealer gets more money. It's simple. It's practical, right? Purdue was well aware that OxyContin did not provide pain relief for 12 hours, even before the drug went to market. Of course they knew, but held fast to the claim of 12-hour relief, right? And that was a diabolical marketing scheme too, right? I'm going to tell you that this drug is going to last 12 hours because you don't want to be in pain, and 12 hours is half of a goddamn day of no pain. But I know the drug don't last for 12 hours. So when you become accustomed to taking a drug, you understand, which is heroin, right? And it wears off before that 12-hour period, you're going to want some more drugs. So I'm going to make some more money by selling you more drugs. In part to protect its revenue, because OxyContin's market dominance and its high price, up to hundreds of dollars per bottle, hinge of its 12-hour duration. Instead of prescribing small doses more frequently, doctors were advised to keep patients on the 12-hour cycle, but prescribe a stronger dose, thereby exasperating their addiction. Come on, man. Like this company knew what they was doing. They persuaded these doctors, you understand, to prescribe the pills at higher dosages so they can make you addicts, so you can crave the drugs that they sell, so they can make money off of selling you more drugs. Reports of OxyContin abuse began to surface at the start of 2000. A proactive abuse surveillance program called Research Abuse Diversion and Addiction-Related Surveillance, RADARS, sponsored by Purdue Pharma LP, pronounced OxyContin and hydrocodone the most commonly abused pain medications. In 2003, the Drug Enforcement Administration found that Purdue's aggressive methods had very much exasperated OxyContin's widespread abuse. Man, these people was being investigated by the DEA. Come on, the DEA go after a nigga that's selling heroin, that's selling bricks of cocaine. You understand? That's illegally selling marijuana. This is a pharmaceutical company that was being investigated by the Drug Enforcement Agency. Come on, man, these people criminals. Salakia. In 2012, the New England Journal of Medicine published a study that found that 76% of those seeking help for heroin addiction began by abusing pharmaceutical narcotics, primarily OxyContin. Did y'all hear that? So I'm going to read that one more time. In 2012, the New England Journal of Medicine published a study that found that 76% of those seeking help for heroin addiction began by abusing pharmaceutical narcotics, primarily OxyContin. 76% of people that was trying to kick heroin addiction, they got started on using heroin because they began abusing OxyContin, and drew a direct line between Purdue's marketing of OxyContin and the subsequent heroin epidemic in the U.S. Man, OxyContin kicked off another heroin epidemic in the U.S. You had a big heroin epidemic in the U.S. during the 60s and the 70s. You understand? Really, the late 60s, early 70s. According to the New York Times, based on a confidential Justice Department report that was revealed in May 2018, Purdue was also aware of reports that the pills were being crushed and snorted, stolen from pharmacies, and that some doctors were being charged with selling prescriptions. Over 100 internal company memos between 1997 and 1999 included the words street value, crush, or snort. Purdue Pharmacy knew that people were using their drugs the same way that you use heroin. Salakia. Man, this is crazy to me. Salakia. The Agrosky memo. In 2006, Kirk Agrosky, deputy chief of the fraud division at the U.S. Department of Justice, wrote an internal memorandum which shows that government prosecutors found evidence that the executives at the drugs giant Purdue Pharma may have committed multiple crimes, including wire fraud and money laundering to boost sales of OxyContin. The document confirms that a $654 million settlement between Purdue and the government over deceptive marketing claims in mid-2007 fell far short of what prosecutors had actually sought just 6 months earlier. So the government, they settled out for money, and they wanted more than $654 million, but they settled for $654 million. That's the government that got all of that money from. The government wanted they goddamn cut. Salakia. Y'all done made these billions of dollars. Nigga, I need a percent. In 2019, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse and Maggie Hansen requested the Department of the Justice Department give them a copy of the memo, stating it is purported to include evidence that Purdue Pharma executive may have lied when they told Congress that they had no knowledge of the extensive abuse and diversion of OxyContin before it was made known to them in 2000. The memo recommends that Purdue executives Michael Friedman, Paul Goldheim, and Howard Udell should have been charged with felonies that could have sent them to prison, which they weren't. You understand? And Salakia, I'm going to just OxyContin related lawsuits. By 2019, over 1,000 lawsuits have been initiated against Purdue by state and local governments. States across the USA have filed claims for more than $2 trillion in the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy case. Salakia. I gotta read that again. States across the USA have filed claims for more than $2 trillion in the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy case. You understand? Everybody tried to come at these people for this money. You understand? In May 2007, the company pleaded guilty, Salakia, to misleading the public about OxyContin's risk of addiction and agreed to pay $600 million, equivalent to approximately $882 million in 2003, is one of the largest pharmaceutical settlements in U.S. history. The company's president, Michael Friedman, top lawyer Howard R. Udell, and former chief medical officer Paul D. Goldeneye pleaded guilty as individuals to misbranding charges, a criminal violation, and agreed to pay a total of $34.5 million in fines. Friedman, Udell, and Goldman agreed to pay $19 million, $8 million, and $7.5 million, respectively. In addition, 3 top executives were charged with a felony and sentenced to 400 hours of community services in drug treatment programs. These niggas didn't do no time. They had to pay millions of dollars, you understand, and did 400 hours of community service and drug treatment programs. Man, a white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Salakia. You understand? Let me, let me give y'all the pictures of these families. Let me show y'all what these devils look like. Let's see. Y'all can see them. To the far right, that is Raymond Sackler. You understand? Born 1920, died in 2017. Right? This is right here. This is Arthur Sackler. You understand? His brothers were Raymond and Mortimer Sackler. These were the three Sackler brothers that bought Purdue Pharma. You understand? And this is Richard Sackler. This is it's one of their sons, Salakia. This is I believe this is Raymond Sackler's son. You understand? He was the one that actually created OxyContin and overseeing, you understand, the development of the drug, right? Salakia. You understand? These people was evil as hell. I'm gonna read a definition. You understand? Out of the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. You understand? This is the definition for the word witch, right? Witch, a woman in early England, also a man in league with evil spirits, right? It says, Salakia is also translated to witchcraft. You understand? Salaki, my laptop finna die, so I'm gonna just cut it short. You understand? The Greek word pharmakia, you understand, which is what which translates to in the New Testament, or a sorcerer, you understand, or a wizard, you understand. Pharmakia means the use of drugs, you understand. Like, these people were witches, these people were warlocks, you understand. Salaki, I'm gonna get probably one or two scripts, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it because this class is Salaki, this laptop finna die. Go to the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 18. So lock in, put it on the screen real quick for y'all to see. It's the book of Exodus, chapter hold on, so like Exodus chapter 22 and verse 18. And it reads, thou, Salakia, thou shalt not, oh shit, Salakia, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. You understand? The Lord does not like drug dealers. The Lord does not like people that indulges in selling drugs. You understand? The Lord wants all witches, warlocks, people with familiar spirits to be unalived. You understand? Now, of course, we are not advocating for anybody in the world, you understand, to actually enforce the law of us not having witches in our nation or in society, period. You understand? But back during the times of us having a righteous rulership and us having man, go sit down, bro. For us having righteous rulership and in the times where we were able to enforce the law, you understand? If you was a witch or a warlock, the Lord didn't play that, and you would be unalived. You understand? Salaki, this laptop finna die. I was finna get a couple scripts. I want to say the water to Mana'ima, you understand? Nazam Anah, right? Salaki Ayasha Allah, young man Jamrin, right? Maadawan Karak, you understand? The Pacific Northwest, One West, and my brother, young man Jesus. The water to y'all for tapping into the class. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all share this with somebody. You understand? It's very important for us to get these type of classes out so blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians can understand that being a criminal is not our culture. That being a drug dealer, a pimp, you understand, and any other criminality that you could think of, it's not our culture. The Lord put us on planet Earth to be righteous men, men that feared him, and to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. To the brothers, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Baraka Thumb. To the sisters, Yahweh Shamar Allah Thun Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. And you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all rock out with me next weekend. You understand? Shalom, Israel.